So hey, what's up guys, this is AK, and you are watching my YouTube channel AKM. So guys, welcome back to a brand new tips and tricks video of PUBG Mobile. So guys, close range fights are easily one of the most important skills in PUBG Mobile, because they happen in just a few seconds, and they often decide whether you survive or go back to the lobby. The biggest mistake that most players make is thinking that close range fights are only about fast reactions and good aim. They keep changing their sensitivity, buying new devices, or copying controls from professional players, but they still lose fights that they should have won. The reason is simple. Winning close range fights is mostly about making better decisions before and during the fight. Even if your aim is decent, bad movement, poor positioning, and poor decision making will make you lose against players with weaker mechanics. The good news is that these mistakes are surprisingly easy to fix once you understand why they happen. Today I am going to show you 3 habits that separate consistent players from players who only win fights by luck. Once you start applying these tips, you will notice that close range fights become much easier, and you will start surviving situations that used to feel impossible. Now with that said, let's get into the first tip. The first secret is learning to fight with control instead of panic. One of the biggest mistakes players make is trying to move as fast as possible the moment an enemy appears. They start jumping, crouching, spinning their camera everywhere, and firing at the same time. They think moving more makes them harder to hit, but in reality, they lose control of their own aim. This usually happens because players panic. They know the fight will be over quickly, so they try to do everything at once. Instead of making themselves difficult to hit, they make themselves inaccurate. The correct approach is to stay calm, keep your crosshair under control, and only use movements that actually help you. Every movement should have a purpose. If you are moving left, it should be to avoid enemy bullets. If you are peeking, it should be to create a better angle. Random movement only creates random results. For example, imagine you push a player inside a house. As soon as he appears, you start jumping and moving in every direction. Your crosshair keeps missing because your own movement is making it harder to track him. Now imagine the same fight, but this time you stay composed. You strafe smoothly from side to side, keep your crosshair on the enemy, and continue spraying with control. Suddenly the fight feels much easier, because you are making your aim work with your movement instead of against it. Another important habit is to avoid unnecessary movement while peeking, and never jiggle while shooting at an enemy in medium or long range. Constantly shaking your character while trying to land accurate shots only makes your own spray less consistent. Peek only when necessary, and let your aim do the work. This simple habit immediately improves consistency because you stop relying on luck, and start relying on controlled decisions. Now let's move to the second tip. The second secret is practicing close-range training drills every single day. One of the biggest mistakes players make is believing that simply playing classic matches is enough to improve their close-range skills. They spend most of their time looting, rotating, driving vehicles, and searching for enemies. By the end of the match, they may have only fought 2 or 3 close-range battles. That simply is not enough if your goal is to become a better player. The reason this happens is because players think experience alone will improve their mechanics. In reality, improvement comes from repeating the right mechanics over and over again until they become automatic. That is exactly why close-range training drills are so important. They allow you to practice tracking, crosshair placement, movement, reaction time, and spray control continuously without wasting time searching for fights. Every minute you spend practicing the correct mechanics makes your gameplay more consistent. The best part is that you do not even have to search for training ideas. I have already covered different close-range training drills all over this channel. You can find plenty of videos explaining them in detail. All you need to do is choose a few drills and practice them every single day. Do not just watch those videos and forget about them. Actually apply what you learn. For example, imagine you spend 15 or 20 minutes practicing close-range drills every day before jumping into Classic. After a few weeks, when an enemy suddenly rushes your building, your crosshair naturally stays on target, your movement feels smoother, and your reactions become much faster. You are no longer thinking about every movement because your muscle memory is already doing the work. That is why players who practice regularly always look more consistent. Their confidence comes from preparation, not luck. But there is one more thing. Practicing drills builds your mechanics, but those mechanics still need to be tested in real matches. You need a place where you can apply everything you have practiced under real pressure, against unpredictable enemies. And that brings us to the third and final secret. The third secret is playing solo versus squad as much as possible. This is probably the most underrated tip in this entire video, because most players completely neglect it. Instead of challenging themselves, all they do is play classic matches with random teammates. There is nothing wrong with playing with randoms, but if that is all you ever do, your individual skills will improve much more slowly because your teammates often cover your mistakes. Solo versus squad is where all the close-range mechanics you practiced finally come together. Your crosshair placement, movement, tracking, decision-making, and confidence are all tested in real combat. Every fight becomes a learning experience because there is nobody to carry you. For example, imagine you knock one player inside a compound. In a normal squad match, your teammates can immediately help you finish the fight. But in solo versus squad, you know 3 more enemies could still be alive. Now you have to rely on the mechanics you practiced. You have to control your movement, keep your crosshair ready, listen for footsteps, reload behind cover, and decide whether to push or reposition. At first, you will probably lose a lot of matches, and that is completely normal. Every defeat teaches you something new, and every difficult fight exposes a weakness that you can improve. Slowly, your confidence grows, your decision-making becomes faster, and close-range fights stop feeling overwhelming. If you really want to become a better close-range player, use training drills to build your skills, then jump into solo versus squad to test those skills in real situations. That combination is one of the fastest ways to improve consistently in PUBG Mobile. So guys, that was all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more PUBG Mobile tips, aiming guides, movement tutorials, and practical gameplay advice that will help you improve faster. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.